Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into one of the most vibrant, awe-inspiring, and just absolutely massive natural wonders of our entire world, the Great Barrier Reef. We're going to uncover its staggering scale, its mind-boggling biodiversity, and the incredibly cool science dedicated to protecting a structure so huge, it honestly kind of defies imagination.
But before we get into all the amazing details, we really have to start by asking one massive question. What happens when the largest living structure on Earth faces its greatest threat? So today, we're taking an epic journey to look at the pure wonder of this ecosystem, its immense value to all of us, and the high-stakes race to build up its resilience against a rapidly changing climate. To wrap your head around the sheer scale of the reef, you really only need to understand this single number, 2,300. That is the length, in kilometers, that the Great Barrier Reef stretches along Australia's northeastern coast. It covers over 344,000 square kilometers, and it's made up of more than 2,900 individual reefs and 900 islands. I mean, it is the biggest single structure made by living organisms on the entire planet. You can easily see it from space.
Section 1. Ancient Origins and Custodians.
Okay, let's look back at how this monumental structure actually came to be, because the geological and cultural history here runs incredibly deep. The absolute earliest evidence of reef structures dates back an astonishing 600,000 years. Fast forward a bit, and at least 65,000 years ago, First Nations peoples established this deeply enduring connection with the sea country. Today, there are over 70 traditional owner groups that maintain their spiritual and custodial connections to the reef. And the vibrant living reef that we recognize today, that actually began its current growth phase around 10,000 years ago, right after the last glacial maximum.
Section 2. A vibrant underwater metropolis.
If you imagine a hyper-vibrant, photorealistic underwater metropolis that looks like it's straight out of an anime, you're starting to get the picture. We aren't just talking about a few schools of fish here. The reef hosts over 9,000 recorded species. That includes 1,600 species of fish. Yep, including the famous clownfish. You've got 359 species of hard coral that literally build the architecture of the place, plus 6 of the world's 7 marine turtle species and 30 different types of whales and dolphins. It is an absolute biological powerhouse.
Now, a really common misconception is that the reef is just one giant, uniform coral habitat. But actually, scratch that. It's way more complex. It's divided into what we call bioregions. It encompasses 70 incredibly unique ecological areas, forming this massive, interconnected tapestry of coral reefs, mangroves, and sprawling seagrass meadows that all constantly support one another.
Section 3. Our coastal and economic shield.
So why does all this matter on a practical, human level? Well, the reef is a massive economic engine. Tourism alone contributes a staggering $6.4 billion to the Australian economy every single year, and it supports roughly 64,000 jobs. Now, commercial and recreational fishing are definitely important, bringing in about $360 million. But as you can hear, the economic revenue from tourism just absolutely dwarfs it. People travel from all over the globe literally just to witness this ecosystem. But its value goes so far beyond just dollars and cents. The reef acts as a massive natural shield. This dense physical barrier of coral dissipates immense amounts of wave energy. For the coastal communities living nearby, this means the reef is literally defending their shorelines from destructive storms, coastal flooding, erosion, and it even helps mitigate the impact of tsunamis. Whenever oceanic forces bear down, the reef is standing right there on the front lines.
Section 4. The threat of climate change.
The reef is tough, for sure, but right now it's facing an unprecedented antagonist, rapidly warming oceans. And the contrast is pretty stark. A thriving reef is full of these vibrant colors, it's teeming with life, and it acts as a really strong coastal defense. But when sea temperatures rise and oceans acidify because of climate change, the corals actually expel the colorful algae that live inside their tissues. They literally starve, turning bone white in a process known as bleaching. And if we lose the coral, we lose the habitat, and we lose those absolutely crucial coastal defenses. The science here is undeniably clear. Climate change is the single biggest threat to this ecosystem's future.
Section 5. Building a resilient future.
But hey, this is where the story pivots, because we are not just standing by. There's a massive, coordinated effort to fight back. Consider this number, 33%. 20 years ago, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority made a super courageous decision with their zoning plan. They took the highly protected no-take green zones from just 5% of the park all the way up to a massive 33%.
So what do these zones actually do?
Well, they're essentially safe havens that build up the reef's resilience. By completely removing fishing and extractive pressures in these specific areas, the reef can heal itself so much faster after disturbances like a bleaching event or a huge storm. These zones protect vital spawning areas. They provide a safe refuge for threatened species like turtles and dugongs, and they've led to some really significant gains in overall fish abundance.
And scientists are getting incredibly innovative beyond just zoning. One downright futuristic technology they're testing right now is called cloud brightening. It works in 3 steps. First, specialized water cannons spray microscopic seawater droplets high into the sky. Second, this helps form brighter, whiter, low marine clouds over the reef. And third, those clouds act like a giant sunshade, reflecting sunlight away from the ocean and actively cooling the surface waters below. They are literally engineering shade for the reef. How wild is that?
You know, it really grounds everything we've talked about today when you consider that even Australians who never actually visit the reef deeply value its continued existence. The true worth of the Great Barrier Reef goes way, way beyond just tourism dollars or acting as a storm shield. It holds this profound intrinsic, cultural, and spiritual value that we just can't put a price tag on.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, it leaves us with one final vital question. Will our generation be the one to step up and protect the Great Barrier Reef, or the one that lets its vibrant colors fade away forever? The science is incredibly clear, the solutions are actively being deployed, but the clock is definitely ticking. I really hope this explainer has given you a much deeper understanding of this incredible underwater metropolis and sparked your curiosity to learn even more. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.